Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Guess what? I'm sitting here in Las Vegas with the notorious Mr. B, otherwise known as Nick from Link2, and I'm going to let him talk to you to get this party started here.
Thank you. Good morning. First, let me just say thank you to all of our existing members who are investors at Link2. We appreciate you so much. Every week we speak with new investors who come to the platform who tell us they've been watching DAI for years and they just are finally coming around to investing now. So I just tell you, if you're still sitting on the sidelines, get in the game. We still have Ripple shares available. We have PolySign. I'm sure you've seen that we have PolySign. One of our newest companies is Axiom Space. It's so exciting and huge what Axiom Space is doing. And we've got 42 or 44 different companies on the platform right now. If you have any questions, just get signed up. Ask us your questions. We're here to help you, and come on in and come invest at Link2 if you think you might qualify as an accredited investor.
True story. Last night we were about to head up, and all of the tables were like, we found it was a $25 minimum was the best we could find because we were looking for a $5 blackjack table. And I had $200 in my pocket and literally turned it in. I think I made $675 right quick.
Great way to end the night.
Okay, so, and Nick, you just sit here, and if you think you need to comment on something, do so. So everybody remembers a few years back, Glenn Hutchins was talking about how the value's in the protocol, and that's been the thing to me that a lot of people, because we haven't had a utility bull run yet, have not really gotten their mind around. It's hard to accept that actually is going to happen because all we've seen is speculation so far. And so I saw this tweet yesterday where this guy was reminding everybody of that. But I wanted to show this. When we were uncovering ETHgate, I showed this right here. This is Fred Wilson from Union Square Ventures, and I showed part of this video the other day. But I wanted to show this because this is a sophisticated venture capitalist. Union Square Ventures is a huge company, and he tells you right here, and he's talking about Ethereum, but XRP is the same. I mean, in terms of the value being in the protocol, they all know it. And right here is where he says it, and some people miss this.
Had there been at that moment, now, by the way, that was a year before Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the white paper, literally a year before the white paper came out. If we had known then that we could have left it as an open protocol and we could have put a token inside of it and we could have issued ourselves 20% of those tokens and then just let the whole thing go, we would have made way more money, I guarantee you, than we've made. And we made a lot of money in Twitter, but we would have made way more money because Twitter would have become the message routing system for the internet. It would have become like SMTP or TCP/IP. And with a token inside of it, I think that's massive. Imagine if there was a token inside of TCP/IP. Think about that. Everything in the entire internet runs on TCP/IP.
And Nick, I want you to comment on this, but this right here captures why they've come after Ripple and XRP so hard. It's because they all know this is a digital currency war and the value's in the protocol. That is the whole reason that Ripple has gone through the gauntlet of all this stuff.
Well, and look, I mean, they went after the behemoth in the business, and luckily Ripple was in a position to defend themselves, and we're halfway through, going through this tunnel. I mean, obviously with XRP having clarity now, that's the key to this whole thing. But we're definitely moving in the right direction, that's for sure.
Yep. So this is also the reason I've given Mike Novogratz such a hard time over the years, is because I know that he's smart enough to know what we know. And when he said things like this, and I'm not going to play the whole clip, this first part.
Big move in XRP that we've seen recently.
I wish someone could explain it to me.
That's just a lie. And that's what's pissed me off about this guy for all these years. It wasn't good enough for him to just let things, be invested in his thing. That wasn't good enough. he had to plant seeds of doubt, and this guy's not stupid. And I've known for years that he was intentionally putting out these kind of vibes. That's why I just can't ever seem to let Mike Novogratz go. So XRP Darren found this clip from Cindy Young recently. She's at Money 2020, and my favorite Money 2020 clip ever is when Chris Larson was saying how he thought that XRP could be used in the next financial crisis for liquidity.
Ripple is a leading crypto and blockchain enterprise service provider, purely serving business customers. And we've been focused on addressing problems in the cross-border payments world using blockchain and crypto over the last 10 years. And we've built out RippleNet, which is a payments network that does exactly that.
I need to talk here because of that music. I don't know if it's copyrighted, but I need to put my voice in here a little bit.
I think what I'm encouraged to see compared to maybe about even about 2-3 years ago, I had seen crypto blockchain topics sort of seeping in through the agenda and almost kind of taking over in a way that in all the conversations, even if it's completely other topics, there's always been a question around it. So I see that trend has been almost adopted, and now it's a natural part of the financial services and payments industry, and I can see that persists. And again, those who are building for the long term, I continue to talk about it, continue to talk about the real world use cases, and I'm really kind of excited and encouraged to see that again, despite all the sort of some of the challenging developments happening in the space.
I met her in Swell last year.
Tell that story.
Well, I did. I met her. Actually, we were starting to have lunch at a table, and we introduced each other. And we were just starting to have this great conversation. And unfortunately, somebody had to whisk her away because she had to get back on stage. But she's incredibly impressive. I mean,
as long as you're talking about that.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, because I remember when you came back from, that was London Swell, right? Mm-hmm. When you came back, you took notes, and there were several interesting things. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I want you to, what was the most interesting thing you heard the whole time you were there?
Oh, I would just say, I just think the confidence that Brad and Stuart Alderati had about winning the case was really what gave me the confidence that we were going to end up where we did end up, because there was zero doubt in their minds of where we were heading. And then with ultimately, with companies just waiting to use XRP in financial streams in the United States, which is just huge. So now the question is, who's going to be the first financial institution to use, ODL here in the United States? And I think that's really what we're waiting for. And I think that will be the huge, the next and the biggest catalyst we see in this whole thing.
I think you're right. Now, every time I cover these on this channel all the time, and every time I cover these whale alerts, like in this case, it's 425 million XRP that's being transferred from Bitvavo, which I've never even heard of. I'm wondering, is this somebody, when I see these, I'm like, is this guy or this person having to literally, when you're transferring your XRP, you're like, okay, I'm going to do 5 first, and then I'll do 5,000. Well, I always wonder, how many did he send first? Did he send, does he send 30 and then 428 million?
It was 5 million. His test was 5 million.
What was even more nerve-wracking was back in the day when I would send Bitcoin, and you would have to wait on, I don't remember what exchange it was, but you would have to wait, and it would say, there's a confirmation, and I would call people up and say, what's a confirmation?
Yeah. Well, how many texts did you ever get from your friends saying, man, I've been waiting on my Bitcoin transaction for 3 hours. I hope it happens.
And has that even changed?
No, it hasn't.
So, okay. And then we've got, this is going on, Christine Lagarde is here. She's with Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve and Bank of Japan. And, what I think of is a few things when I watch this. First of all, Nick, you may not know it, but when I went to Jackson Hole, we had lunch right there where they're standing. There's like a restaurant right there. If you've never been to Jackson Hole, go. It's so cool. But anyway, the other thing I think of is I see the guy from the Bank of Japan, and I just think So for all these years, we've been watching Brad Garlinghouse. He's in the room with Christine Lagarde, the IMF. They're working with the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Euro, so they're in that whole mix. And then the SBI buys, what, 10.5% back in 2016, was it?
Yeah.
I always wondered if that was like if Japan said, yeah, we're on board, but you let us buy into this thing. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. We haven't seen much, or at least we don't see it from the outside, the interaction between Yoshitaka Kitao and Ripple these days. But I'm sure there's a lot cooking there.
I'm the digital asset investor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that Nick Burafeto is going to take us out. You got anything else?
Well, tell your friends and family that the digital asset investor eats octopus.
Yes, we did have some last night. Thanks for listening.